chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So let me invite you to Varun Prabhuji. By profession, Varun Prabhuji is working as a head of automation services at Idea Spark Private Limited, a subsidiary of Fortuna Entertainment Group. By profession, he is a spiritual practitioner. He has over 16 years of experience in the IT industry and has worked in various technologies in Birlasoft, IVID, Comtech, and now in IdeaSparks. He holds a bachelor's degree physics honors from BHU University and Varanasi and MCA from NIT Rourkela. Even after being from a science background, he still had the desire to explore, to figure out what could be the possible solutions which our ancient texts gives to situations like current, which brought him in touch with Bhagavad Gita. His life is not the same anymore. He has been practicing spiritual life by studying scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam under guidance of empowered Guru. Traveled various places and practiced the concept learned to gain first-hand experience. This is also when he started exploring how can the ancient Vedic system help us with the parenting. That is the topic for today. So please, all pay attention to that. He has also made the lives of youth easier by inspiring them about spirituality and healthy lifestyle. Also, please welcome Nirendra Prabhuji. Even though my name is showing Nirendra Prabhuji, but I am not. Nirendra Prabhuji is our spiritual guru. He is also as a part of this session today. So, Varun Prabhuji, all over to you.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for this introduction. And we will quickly jump on to the presentation. Prabhuji, please let me know once my screen is visible.
Yes, Prabhuji, your screen.
Okay, wonderful. So again, Hare Krishna, everyone, and welcome to this session for our Art of Parenting. What we see here is a lady who's trying to do multiple activities during her day. Probably it is early morning for her, and as we can see, she is trying to cook. She is trying to take care of her baby. She is on a phone call. She is trying to manage something of her office as well, and trying some entertainment on the television. So as we all know, I think nothing new to talk is parenting is not easy stuff, right? So yeah, so that is to start with on the slides. And just a quick question to everyone. I hope everyone is comfortable with English, or do we have some Hindi participants as well? Because I don't know any other language as of now. I'm learning still Telugu a little bit. If raise hand if you have any concerns with English. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for that. So quickly, let us move forward. So we have already collected a few stats regarding how the current kids, the participating parents and their ages. Okay, so quickly, let us start the session with a quick check of our memories. Okay, so let us talk about let us talk in general in our daily life, day-to-day life, what we see, and let us try to see how many of us remember in the last Olympics who won the badminton gold medal. Anyone who knows it, can you please raise your hand? No? Okay. In the current Olympics, anyone? Any guesses? No? Okay. Okay, one very generic question. Who is the fastest 100 meters runner in the world today? Anybody raising hand? Yeah? Okay. Okay, Do we have any answers?
Usain Bolt.
Usain Bolt. Okay, very nice. So we have one. I think it is quite known, but yeah, thank you for your answer. Okay, coming to let us talk a little bit in our personal life. So with the last appraisal, if we are in service, or suppose if you are working, then you can tell me about before 1 year before, what was your monthly income probably. Or if you are a salaried person, you can tell me, if you just remember, I'm not talking about you have to put up the quote, you just have to remember what was your salary before this current appraisal which happened. Anybody raising hand? Raising hand for the yes, I remember, or otherwise, yeah, it is okay, I don't care. I mean, things like these don't matter to us, right? So similarly, okay, I don't see any hand raised till now. We got one answer. And when we talk about the current prime minister, he is a very favorite person of ours, right? I hope so with everyone. So does anyone remember when did he join the second term? What date? No? Okay, not a problem. Okay, so let us quickly talk about our personal life. So, in our childhood days, do we remember who was the best teacher whom we met? Okay. Yes. And it would be really wonderful to, yeah, you can chat as well, or you can raise your hand on the screen the way I did. Or maybe, yeah, if you can switch on your cameras, it will be really interactive so that we can see each other. That helps us make a better connection so that I can understand you and you can get the feeling of what we are talking about. Yeah. Yeah. थैंक यू. आई सी अ फ्यू कैमराज ऑलरेडी ऑन. इट वुड बी रियली नाइस अगर आप सभी लोग अपने अपने कैमराज ऑन कर सकें तो इट वुड बी रियली वंडरफुल. थैंक यू सो मच. सो ओके, नोबडी रिमेम्बर्स कि हमारे बचपन में किस टीचर ने हमें बहुत अच्छे से ट्रीट किया था? हु इज आवर फेवरेट टीचर? वी डू, राइट? Yes, yes, of course. So, and similarly, who was the worst teacher in our childhood days? We all remember all of those things, right? So that is actually the theme. That is the theme, that what we are trying to talk here is the activities which happen.
Sorry to interrupt, Prabhuji. There are few hand raised.
Yes, yeah, yeah. And thank you everyone for mentioning that you still remember. And that is exactly the idea. What we are trying to convey here is we we do remember what happens in our childhood days, and it is really very important that the time which we have for the kids, how is that utilized? And and therefore it is very important that we should know the principles that govern parent child interaction. And with these principles aligned, we can be the best parents, and we can be the best giving to the children the legacy which they can continue throughout their life, and they would cherish them forever, right? So and the other thing is, if growth stages, so basically what we are going to talk a little bit about today is a science as available in the Vedic scriptures. So what we are going to talk here is the growth stages, if different growth stages, and if we do not cater to them properly, they can lead to misunderstandings between the kids and the parents, and can lead to perpetual dissatisfaction in the relationships. Okay, so what is best is doing right thing at right time. And I hope you remember the quote, a stitch in time saves nine, right? So so that's what it is. So that is a brief about the introduction of our art of parenting slide. Let us move on to the next slide. Yeah, here this is a real life case study. So and quickly we'll go through it because we have a lot of content to cover today. There was a child uh, who used to complain to their parent that he's getting blood out of his body. Sometimes he used to get blood out of his right hand, sometimes his left leg, sometimes his right leg, sometimes around his belly, or somewhere or the other he used to get either some hurt or he used to get blood. And the parents got worried. So they tried figuring out, but they couldn't, and then they finally had to go to the doctor. So there is a stream of science which is called as hematology, where they try to figure out if there are reasons like this, and what could be lacking in the child, maybe lack of some vitamin, or maybe some minerals, or some kind of a disease. So they went to this doctor, uh, and the doctor tried to understand what could be the reason for this blood coming. And one peculiar thing which he noticed, and which the parents also told them, was the blood always used to start coming around 6 o'clock in the evening. And just hearing that, doctor was really astonished. How is it possible? I mean, this is really strange कि 6 बजे ही ऐसा क्या होता है कि the kid starts getting or gets hurt, or the blood starts flowing out. Something is not right here. So he took that case, and then he tried to note down the daily routine of the parents, and the daily routine of the kids. And then he said, "Okay, okay, allow me some time. I will try to go through all of this, and I will get back to you in a couple of days, because I have a few friends of mine with whom I have to consult. So we might have to consult a few other doctors as well. So I will let you know in a few days." And then parent and the kid went home. In a few days, when the doctor uh, figured out, he actually called the parent and child both to his clinic. And while all of them came back, he asked the parents to sit outside while he had to talk with the kid. और फिर उन्होंने किड से बात की. He said to the kid, "Okay, tell me truly, सच सच बताओ. अगर सच बोलोगे तो कोई कुछ नहीं बोलेगा. Nobody is going to से एनीथिंग टू यू. लेकिन अगर झूठ बोलोगे तो फिर दिक्कत होगी, है ना. सच सच बताओ कि ये तुम्हें जो खून आता है, ये तुम खुद से काटते हो ना अपना बॉडी." So on that, the kid said, oh my God, doctor, how come you know that? And please don't tell this to my parents. Otherwise, they are not going to love me and give me any care going down the line." So that was the expression which came out of the kid. And this is a real life case study. This is nothing hypothetical. This is a true story which has been put up. And just looking at the reaction of the kid, it was really difficult for the doctor. But then he tried to settle things out. But the thing which we have to learn out of this is how we should try to figure out कि हमें how should we manage our kids, how should we manage our time, so that we can address them properly, right? So that is about this story. Okay, before we move on, I think there is a shloka from Bhagavad Gita, and I will just read out to you, so that, and the relevance here is the act which is done by great people is followed by the general people in the world. So let me read it out. It reads as yad yad acharati shreshthas tat tat evetaro jana स यत् प्रमाणं कुरुते लोकस्तत् अनुवर्तते. And what is the meaning is, whatever action a great man performs, common men follow. And whatever standards he set by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. So here, what we are trying to talk here is being a parent, being a responsible parent, what action we perform is taken by the kid that way. And I will try to explain you a little bit more as we move on in the slide. Yeah. Okay. So a quick question to everyone: when do you think parenting starts? And you can raise your hand quickly if you think you know the answer, or maybe you can quickly chat that out so that we can read it. When do you think parenting starts?
I think before the birth itself, right?
Very nice. Wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, Ekansh, please go ahead.
At the time of birth of a child.
Yeah, that is the general conception which we have actually. Yeah. Thank you for sharing your answer. Yeah, please. I think we can go ahead. Okay, I see some answers here on the chat as well with conceiving. Um, yeah, we'll go a little early. Yeah, I see one hand raised, Namrata. You can unmute yourself and speak. आप unmute करके बोल सकते हैं. Okay. Okay, thank you. So, yes, the parenting starts even before the couple decides to conceive a child. And that is in our ancient culture called as Garbhadhan Sanskar. Okay, so that is the answer to this question. And just to talk a little bit about the Garbhadhan Sanskar, the idea is when parents decide that they have to conceive a child, uh, they should they should have their consciousness clarified, sanitized, so that we have a pure consciousness. And once we have pure consciousness, we can beget a soul which is also of the same nature. So if suppose if we conceive without thinking, without having a proper consciousness, we are going to have we are not going to have the right progenies. And we can take an example from uh, uh, same mother and same father giving birth to different kids. Say, for example, Ravan, Kumbhakarna, and Vibhishan, right? So, what was difference in them? So, it's all about what is your perception and what is your consciousness at the time of conceiving, right? So, Srila Prabhupada used to say that think futuristic, and being a genuine human being, we have to give birth to Krishna conscious kids and not just cats and dogs. Okay, thank you. Moving on, stop trying to perfect your kid. Yeah, so this is one more thing which we are going to talk a little bit about during our session today, where we will try to see how we can perfect our relationship with the kid and the children. Okay, quickly moving on, and here we have an analogy. We are trying to first put up how generally parents handle their kid. So the slides puts up in this in three different categories. One is a fly mentality, where the parent always tries to find faults with the kid. आप हर एक चीज में ये देखते हो कि वो हम इतने ज्यादा कंसर्न हो जाते हैं, वी बिकम सो मच कंसर्न अबाउट द किड दैट वी कैन ओनली सी फॉल्ट, है ना, उसमें अच्छाई हमें दिखती नहीं है. होता क्या है कि कुछ भी मतलब हमारी एक्सपेक्टेशन इतनी हाई होती हैं कि हम ये सोचते हैं कि द किड हैज टू बी एट द लेवल वेयर आई एम, and obviously that is not possible, right? Because the kid is just a newborn baby and probably 1 to maybe 8 years old, right? The way we collected the stats, 8 years to 12 years is what is the age of the kid, and we cannot expect them to behave the same way as we are. So that is irrational, I would say. Okay, moving on to the next is mosquito. So here the parents are like they don't care much about the kid. They let them free. Okay, ठीक है, you are free to do whatever. But then they try to figure out a position जहाँ पे बच्चा गलती करे, and then we try to chastise him. Right, so that is also not a right mentality, because you can only do it when you are being participative, right? And that is the example third of a honeybee characteristics is they promote what is best in you. They try to the way bee does is collects the nectar, saves it, nurture it, and then it gives it back. And anybody knows when a honeybee stings, what is the remedy to it? Can anybody talk about it? Anybody has any idea?
पिकल या उससे लोहे से we have to scrub so the sting will come out.
Okay, thank you for sharing. Anybody else? Okay, so a quick remedy also, so that Yogesh ji, it is the honey itself, अगर आप honey को उस पे लगाओ तो उसकी जलन कम हो जाती है. So that is the attribute of a honeybee. So how wonderful the nature is, right? So the way it has been created by the Almighty. So yeah, that is another quality of a parent, कि जब भी आप अपने बच्चे को नर्चर करो, you grow him like that, you try to get the best out of him, try to cultivate what is good in him and him or her, and then if the things are not right, if you chastise also, the kid will know कि ठीक है, मतलब ये chastisement इसलिए हो रहा है क्योंकि I am not doing something which is supposed to be done, and that's it. I think that is the way it should be. Okay, quickly moving on to the next slide. We we try to put parenting as an act of gardening. Okay, and quickly let me try to ask, is anybody interested in gardening here? Raise your hand so that we know. Okay, wonderful. Yogesh ji. Richa, okay, nice. Anybody else who's a gardener here, who has a small garden at a back of his flat or home? Okay. Yes, all of us are, right. So gardening, what are the principles? So first principle is obviously the seed or the soil, and that is what we talked about in a parallel concept for parenting, Garbhadhan Sanskar, right? Then second concept is sunshine, right? And we are going to talk a little bit more about it in the further slides. But here, just to give a brief, I'm talking about what gardening is. Okay, so sunshine. What is sunshine in parenting? It is a warmth in the relationship which we had with our kids. Okay, I mean, take an example in the nature. When a pigeon lays egg, or a hen lays egg, or any bird lays eggs, it sits on it, it gives its warmth to the egg. और जब वो उसको वार्मथ मिलता है तो उस वार्म से वो बच्चा ग्रो होता है. अगर कोई अंडा ऐसा छूट गया, if an egg is laid out let alone in a cold, it will never give birth to any chick, right? So that is the warmth, and that is exactly what is needed by all the kids, right? So that is it. The concept says, and the way it has been studied, the study says minimum 6 hours in a week. That should be the rule of thumb, कि हमें 6 hours अपने बच्चे के साथ 101 interaction में देना ही देना है. If that is not being done, then we are not giving the proper thing what is required by kid. And when we give 6 hours, what are we supposed to do? That is another question, right? So first thing is teaching. Now, teaching doesn't mean teacher like teaching. Teaching means when, suppose you are doing an activity with the kid, you try to tell him what is right and what is wrong, how things are supposed to be, and so on and so forth, right? So that kind of teaching. Am I audible, Shailesh Prabhuji? Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji, you're audible.
Thank you. Can you please reconnect, Mataji? I think if you are facing some trouble, yeah. Thank you. Okay. Then second, so we talked about teaching. Second comes the problem solving. Problem solving is like the kid at their age will have their own kind of problems. So they went to garden and somebody hit them. Probably somebody took their bicycle, some other kid, right? And these are the kind of problems that they might have some health issues, maybe some problem with the neighbor or something in the school which is not going on right. So if you spend time and let the kid allow you to come closer to him or her and interact, so that you know what is his or her problem, and then you have to solve them out or let him know how to solve it by themselves. So this is the kind of learning which we can give it to them. Third thing which we should give to them is planning. Planning is a very basic thing, and what I have realized is it is really necessary that we start creating that culture in the kid where we have to tell them कि भाई ऐसे करना है हमें, this is how it has to be done. If you have classes tomorrow, you should get your backpack ready today night, right? If you have to attend a session day after tomorrow, what is required that you prepare today, right? If you have to tell a story in the class, you have to get the story ready at least one day early. So these are the things which are part of, which should be the part of planning. And then of course comes the fun part. Fun part is the thing which we all love, right? So same thing is with the kids, because they are another nothing more than our parts, right? So they will also love it. So what kind of fun we can have? We can have spiritual enjoyment, reading books, right? Doing kirtan together. So that these kind of things should be done, and it helps them also. Then after sunshine comes fencing and nurturing. Fencing and nurturing is like we try to save them from bad association.
Sorry to interrupt, Prabhuji. Your slide is stuck on gardener.
Yeah, Prabhuji. So at a high level, we are just talking about
Oh, perfect.
and then we'll move on.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
You're not audible, Prabhuji, that much.
Am I not audible?
You're audible, Prabhuji. Mataji, can you please reconnect?
Okay, Prabhu.
Okay. Thank you again.
It's very clear.
Okay, thank you. Okay, very nice. So we talk about creating. Yeah, we were talking about nurturing and fencing. So we have to save the kid from bad association, right? Bad association can be what? Bad association can be from the other kids of the school who are not what we expect them to be. Probably they don't have the right mindset, and we will talk a little bit more about that once we move on, right? And then we are fourth one, which is environment and culture. So environment and culture is very much what we create an environment at home. It should be conducive. It should have the aura where you can actually feel that you are God centered. So I think that is the idea which we should have. So yeah, that was a little bit about the gardening, right? And we all know all of this. Now let us talk a little bit about the science behind it. Okay. And of course, as we saw, children needs time and love from all of us. And this is the key, actually. If we talk about parenting, what you should know, this is the slide which we should remember. Okay, anytime. Moving on. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about science of consciousness. Okay, so jam packed, and let me quickly ask if anybody has any questions, because this is going to be a really deep dive into the science. I think I see a few hand raised. Do we have any questions here? No? Okay, thank you. Richa Mataji, your hand is raised, and Smita Mataji, I think your hand is raised. Okay, no questions, I believe. Let's move on. So, if we talk about Vedas, and if we talk about ourselves, I hope everybody knows that we are all a spirit soul, right? Chaitanya, we say, ये Chaitanya, Chetan है ना? So we are all spirit soul. So what is spirit soul? Spirit soul is nothing but a part and parcel of Lord, which was residing all well in the kingdom of God, and due to some circumstances, it had to come into this material world. And when it comes to this material world, it has to take a body. Okay, so this body which we have here, this is the material body, right? And this body has 5 coverings, or we call it koshas. Okay, so yeah, that is a high level idea. Then we talk a little bit about these koshas. What are these koshas? So these 5 koshas, they are called covering of the soul. Okay, and accordingly, the soul identifies with these 5 layers depending on which age group is the soul living currently in. So once the soul acquires the body, it has to first try to get a feel of everything around and what kind of system is he into. Okay, and that is where you see a kid of generally 0 to 5 years of age will always keep things whatever it finds in its mouth. Haven't we seen that? Whatever you give him a pen, you give him your handball, you pick up chappals, anything, whatever they find around. When they are crawling, they will keep moving everything into its mouth. Why are they doing it? So this is called, it is trying to, soul is trying to identify or perceive the environment around itself, and trying to understand what is giving, what is eatable and what is not eatable. So they are basically trying to perceive through their senses the world around us, right? So, and for them everything is food. And when we talk about food, everything in the sense, all five senses is like constantly getting things in. When whether we talk about ears or eyes, nose, tongue, anything, so everything is like perceiving, trying to understand what is this creation, right? So what is the role of a parent here? The role of parent is try to give as much as pure sense objects to these senses as possible. So when we talk about pure sense objects, what do we mean? So if we talk about sight, what is the pure sense object which can be given to the kid is the nature. So you can take your kid out in a morning walk or evening walk, right? In a nature. If you have a garden close by, probably you can take them there, so that they can go and see things for themselves. So seeing greenery, probably seeing butterfly moving around, right? Seeing seeing a plant grow from a small size to bigger size, right? All of these things are what we can give as pure sense object to the side. Similarly, for hearing ke liye, we can give them some nice melodious kirtan at our home. We can play in the background, and when you play that in the background, your whole aura of the home changes, right? For taste के लिए we should always, possible if possible, give prasadam. So food is the vital ingredient of this age, and what we call this age as is annamaya kosh. Annamaya kosh means everything is food in this particular age. Okay, so what kind of food should be given to the kid? It should not be very hot, shouldn't be very cold. So very hot food, very spicy foods, these are considered to be in the mode of Rajoguna. Okay, and very cold food, or maybe food cooked 4 hours prior to when you are serving, if it is not prasadam, then it is considered to be in the mode of tamas, right? So the only food which should be given to the kid is supposed to be in satogun, which is mild in taste, shouldn't be very hot, very cold, shouldn't be too spicy or too bland. So that has to be kept in mind, and these things are very critical at this age, right? So then comes the fifth point, which is the touch. So child in this age grows by touch. So you remember that poem, right? Chubby chicks, dimple chin. And the kids at this age are play toys to everyone at home. So everybody wants to cuddle them, they want to hug them, take them along with them, play with them. So the kid grows by touch. So that is very important. So the overall, if we try to summarize this Annamaya Kosh, what is the role of parent is giving them the basic cleanliness, hygiene, and maintain them in wonderful state of ahar so that they can grow fast. Okay. Yeah. So that was, yes. I see one hand.
Yeah.
Please go ahead. Do you have a question? No? Okay. I think by mistake. Okay, what should not be done is one thing which generally people do is allow kids to start watching TV. Okay, अभी मेरे पास टाइम नहीं है, तुम जाओ टीवी देख लो जाके, है ना? एंड टीवी में क्या देख लो, that is up to the kid. Or we can switch on a cartoon and let the kid watch that cartoon. We don't know what that cartoon is trying to communicate, right? Let me give an example of an advertisement, right? Maybe if you have ever noticed advertisement of a toothpaste, do you actually see that they're just trying to sell toothpaste? I mean, there is so much of message going on. We don't know exactly what these guys are trying after, right? So if the kids are watching TV, make sure that they watch along with you, because TV is wonderful if it is done in a proper way. You can impart a lot of knowledge through TV for sure, but then it has to come through your guidance alone. It cannot happen by themselves. They will not be able to control it. Okay. And it would be a request to everyone if you can kindly switch on your cameras so that we are much interactive. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So at this age, the kid needs pampering. Pampering, not in the sense you pamper a lot and spoil your child. Pampering means continuous encouragement. Continuous encouragement in whatever he does, whatever you try to ask him to do, right? Even if he doesn't do and does it properly, still he needs an encouragement, because this is going to build a strong foundation for them. Okay. And of course, these things are not just required by them, they are, of course, required by us as well. Because we know that we need pure things. We need the right stuff for our food. We need the right environment. We try to go to gym. So all of these things are not just required by the kids, they are also required by us. Okay. Okay, a little break. So this was all about Annamaya Kosh. And one quick thing to everyone. I have shared one form on the chat. Please take some time, maybe after this session, and try to fill out. Just in case if you feel whatever we are talking here, जो कुछ भी हम लोग यहाँ पे बात कर रहे हैं, this is wonderful. If you would like to continue, we have a lot of other sessions also which are getting conducted both for parents and for kids, and we can try to roll you in there so that we go much further. Okay, thank you for that. Coming on to the next stage. So Annamaya Kosh, did I tell that the age is from 0 to 5 years of age, right? Next is the age which is called as Pranamaya Kosh. So what is Pranamaya Kosh? Pranamaya Kosh is once the kid enters this age from 6 to 12 years. So what is the difference is Annamaya Kosh was the soul was trying to identify the environment around it, right? Trying to perceive what is good, what is not. So the two things which are very critical at that age is uh, fulfillment, feeding and nurturing, nourishment. जो हमारी बॉडी उसको हमें नरिश करना है और उसको प्रॉपरली फीड करना है. So these two things were critical in this age of Annamaya Kosh. Next is Pranamaya Kosh. Now Pranamaya Kosh is when the soul now doesn't has a problem with feeding. Now it understands what is right and what is wrong with regards to feeding. When it comes to feeding, because mom is there, she'll take care of things. Parents are there. I have a little idea about the world. क्या चाहिए क्या नहीं चाहिए and all those things, but still of course they are kids, so they need our guidance. So Pranamaya Kosh is when the kids start becoming active, they become and this is because of the soul now tries to identify itself with the pranavayu which is in the body, right? And the system of the nature which actually help us feel active, feel the sense of feeling active. So that is the pranavayu, right? So pran as it reads, it is chal, means it is moving. Man को कहते हैं कि मन क्या है, चंचल है. So it is more than moving, it is very active, and pranavayu is active. So if you see the kids of this age, they are super active. They move here and there, run around, they're playing all throughout the day, no matter what is the situation, where they are sitting, where they are standing, doesn't matter. They'll keep running, keep doing something or the other. So that is the sign of Pranamaya Kosh. So an example which I like to put up here is of Krishna when he was at this year of age, and when he was doing all mischievous activity. My Yashoda, she was like कि बस अब कुछ मत कर, बहुत शैतानी कर ली, अब मैं तुम्हें पनिश करना चाहती हूँ. So when she was about to give the punishment, what punishment she gave was she tied her to the motor. कि तुम यहाँ बंधे रहो, हिलना नहीं, यहीं खड़े रहना है इसी से बंधे हुए. So that is the idea. So that is the biggest punishment which you can give to a kid. कि नहीं, you have to stay shut, चुप हो जाओ और बैठे रहो यहाँ पे. That can be the biggest punishment which we can give to the kid at this age. Okay, so if we talk about what should be done to the kid who is so active, right? Uh, the kids at this age needs proper engagement. So when we talk about engagement, what kind of engagement can be given to the kid? We can enroll them to classes like karate classes, swimming classes, right? And okay, a question which I would like to ask to everyone here. Do you know what is the right age of when you start your kid going to gymnastics? या दुनिया में जो जिम्नास्टिक्स होता है उसमें जो स्टार्ट एज है बच्चों की वो क्या होती है? You can raise your hand or you can directly speak out. That should be okay. I think we don't have.
I believe, sir, like, 3 to 4 years kids are being enrolled nowadays.
Hmm.
Earlier it was 6 to 7 years, but
Hmm.
आजकल का जो जनरेशन इतना फास्ट है, 3 से 4 साल के बच्चे भी काफी अच्छा कर लेते हैं.
Yes, you are right. But yeah, keeping that in mind, 5 to 6, 4 to 5 is the age, which is the ideal when actually kids are allowed across the world to actually start participating, right? So this is the right age when a kid has to be enrolled. And if you have some idea about classical dance, say for example, Bharatnatyam, Kuchipudi, what is the right age? When should the kid start here?
Sir, it is 6 years.
Yeah, right. 6.
After 5 years,
Yeah, so
five
actually
year
I
is
checked.
the
Huh.
5 year is the age of the brain when he or she get the complete development of the brain. After that, we should try to enroll our students or childs, children to learn something new, something
Right.
tactful or
That is,
something logical.
yeah, thank you, Kamal, for that. So that is what we were talking about Pranamakosh. So important it is that we have to make the best utilization out of this age group, right? So we talked about swimming, we talked about gymnastics, dance, and this is the time when you can let the kid go a little free. So when we say a little free means for physical activity. Say for example, if I'm not sure how many of our kids have actually played in mud ever. Played in sand, probably. If you have ever planned to go out to a river bank, I mean, these are the things which the kid would just love to. And if you happen to be across these areas, there can be nothing second to getting them exposed to the nature. So, because nature is the source of all of us. Forget about these days. We don't even find time to move out of our chairs. But if we do same things to kids, they are not going to get proper mental and physical health, right? So these are the things which we should do to the kids. One more thing which we should start introducing is obviously what we discussed last time is try to give them a little bit of discipline. Show them a flavor of what is discipline and what is tolerance. So tolerance would mean that mom has cooked lauki ki sabzi and I don't want to have it. Still I have to have it. Right? So that is about tolerance. Discipline is like what are you supposed to do and what are you not supposed to do, right? So that is about discipline. This is the age when the kid starts learning by seeing. Yeah, I see your hand raised, Kamal sir.
Actually, I just want to add something regarding the vegetable of Loki or example of Loki. If parents are thinking about that the Loki test is not so good, then children are ready to not accept the Lokis. If parents are ready to accept the Loki, so
Yeah,
there is no matter of tolerance in the eating of Loki and other things.
yeah,
So I think it is the not an example of tolerance. Tolerance is the example if you are waiting for your turn and after some time your chance has been cancelled by the some observer or some teachers ki you are not allowed to participate in this activity
uh,
and children get disappointed. I am ready for the all these things and
yeah, yeah,
teachers
of course.
give me
See,
the chance.
Kamal
This is
sir,
the
see,
example of children.
there can be different examples of tolerance, of course, right? So you gave a right example, of course, and the example which I gave is probably applicable to some kids, right? Not every kid is same. So yes, of course, but the idea has to be communicated to the kid, right? That is very important. Okay, I hope that was perceived correctly. Thank you for that. And thank you for your suggestion also. Okay, coming to, yeah, as I was talking, so kids learn by seeing. So just imagine who can be their role model. Of course, parents, right? We are there along with the kids, so we are their role model. So if you want them to have a flavor of reading, we have to read. We have to show them how reading gives fun, how reading gives pleasure, right? So apart from this, how you interact with your parents, how you interact with people outside, how you interact when a beggar comes to you when you go to buy a sabzi, right? That is how the kid is going to learn, and he's constantly learning. So these are the things which actually show him how to handle situation, how to handle the world, and we are their role model, right? And at this age, the school is the main controller. So school decides how the kid is going to be like, what is his situation going to be like. Okay. So any questions on Pranamaya Kosh? Anybody has any doubts? We'll quickly move on because we planned for like 1 hour. We'll try to see how much we can cover. Okay, then comes the Manomaya Kosh. This is the third kosh. So first one we talked about Annamaya Kosh, Pranamaya Kosh, and now we are talking about Manomaya Kosh. So Manomaya Kosh starts with the age of 13, and this goes on till a typical age of 25 or probably 1 year after the marriage. Okay, so what is the peculiarity of this age is everything in the world is related to emotions in this age group for the kids, and anybody who is taking care of my emotion will become my friend. Who doesn't takes care of my emotion, they become my enemy. That is how the thing is. And a typical conception in every kid's life is कोई तो एक ऐसा होगा जो आएगा और मेरी सारे इमोशंस को समझेगा, एंड आई विल गेट अ फुल सेटिस्फैक्शन फ्रॉम हिम और हर, है ना? और ये हमने कितनी बार गानों में सुन रखा है और इसके पीछे कितने गाने बन चुके हैं. So that is the conception which the kids have at this age. So when the kid is so emotionally sensitive, parents feel it difficult to relate to them because parents have now gone to a different age or different section of life. Now they have seen the reality of the world and they are not able to understand it. Now, if at this particular age you are not able to understand the kid, and so perception what comes to the parent is the kid is becoming rebellious, right? And if you ever start feeling this, which means you are actually getting it all wrong, and this is the biggest mistake from the parent side that we can do. At this age, the kids are in a joyride of emotions, right? मतलब उनके वर्ल्ड में कितनी सारी चीजें चल रही होती हैं. दिस एंड द अदर थिंग इज द सोल हैज कम टू दिस एज फर्स्ट टाइम इन इट्स लाइफ. इतने सारे इमोशंस हैं, इतने सारे बायोलॉजिकल चेंजेस हो रहे हैं, इतने सारे फिजियोलॉजिकल चेंजेस हो रहे हैं. ऑल ऑफ दीज थिंग्स आर हैपनिंग एंड द किड इज ट्राइंग टू जस्ट understand things around itself, trying to best manage it, and then over and above all of this situation, agar parents ki help nahi mil rahi hai, if we are not able to support them, and we on the contrary try to contradict them, try to correct them, always nagging ke तुमने ये क्यों किया, कपड़े क्यों नहीं बाहर फैलाए, है ना, सामान क्यों नहीं ठीक से रखा, टेबल तुम्हारी मिस अरेंज्ड क्यों है, तुम्हारे होमवर्क नहीं हुआ, स्कूल से कंप्लेंट आई थी. If we go into that mood, then we are not actually building the relationship, we are actually moving apart, है ना, we are withdrawing from the relationship. और अगर सिचुएशन ऐसी हो जाती है कि बच्चा कॉन्स्टेंटली ये सोच रहा है कि यार कोई तो होगा इस दुनिया में जो कि मेरी इमोशंस को समझेगा, एंड वी स्टैंड एट दिस पर्टिकुलर टाइम जहाँ पे हमें लगता है कि बच्चा सब गलत कर रहा है, तो बच्चे का परसेप्शन क्या होगा? ही विल फॉर श्योर फील कि बस वो जो भी होगा, इट इज फॉर श्योर नॉट दीज पेरेंट्स, एंड दैट कैन बी द वर्स्ट थिंग विच कैन हैपन टू दिस रिलेशनशिप. Okay, so we have to for sure do away with that. We should never actually come into that situation at all. So for that, we should know what is the scenario. So we should have a compassionate behavior towards the kid. First, try to perceive कि बच्चा किस situation से गुजर रहा है, and then we can try to correct him, probably suggest him, and do whatever is required, right? और जब पेरेंट्स से सपोर्ट नहीं मिलता है तो जस्ट इमेजिन हु इज टू देयर रेस्क्यू, कहाँ जाएगा बच्चा, है ना? अभी 13, 14, 15 साल का बच्चा है. सो ऑल दिस एज, दिस इज बेसिकली दैट सेक्शन ऑफ टीन्स, राइट? वी कॉल इट सो टीन्स. सो parents are not there to help, right? Now he is looking for an emotional shelter. So where is he going to go? He's obviously going to go to his friends. And just imagine, matlab, friend, they are the ones who are also in the manomaya course only, right? So they themselves are going through the same scenario. So they don't know what is life, right? What are the realities, how relationships are built, है ना? क्या what are the goals of life? How are you supposed to act? If you do not know this, what is that you are going to guide to your friend? But then there is no option left out. So for that reason, we have to have a very healthy and friendly relationship with the kids. So both things have to happen together. It has to be friendly and of course corrective, as we saw in the example of honeybee, right? Yeah. And quickly talking about all of this, and then we come to this point where what happens apart from this. Yeah, so when we talk about friends and their associates, so all of the activity whatever kids does at this age, it is all driven by the peers. So हमारे फ्रेंड्स डिसाइड करेंगे कि हमारी शर्ट किस कलर की होगी, या हमारा ग्रुप डिसाइड करेगा प्रोबेबली. अगर हमारा ग्रुप सब वाइट में जा रहा है, आई एम ऑल्सो सपोज टू गो इन वाइट, राइट? सो अगर ग्रुप को कुछ पसंद है तो हमें वही खाना है. इफ ग्रुप को मूवी जानी है, वी हैव टू गो. सो ग्रुप इज व्हाट इज द डिसाइडिंग फैक्टर हियर. At this age, teachers and parents are considered to be in the pocket of the kids. They don't damn care about any of them, right? So we have to be very sure that we for sure are not sitting in either of their pockets. Okay, very nice. And at this age, as I said, school is not the driving factor. Yeah, Trishna ji, I see your hand raised.
Yes, sir. As you said, like, no, we need to think about the group, what in which the kids go around with.
Yes.
But how should we decide? At times we are not always around with them.
Of course, we will never be around them all the time, but there are two ways of looking at it. One is what I'm still going to talk about that, so I would request you to just hold on, and I think we will cover. And after we are done with this Manomaya course, we'll give a 5 minutes of break to see if we are covering everything. Okay, and we'll get back to your question also. Your question will be answered in the next few points, which I'm going to talk about. Okay. So thank you for that. And at this age, kids needs proper engagement. So when we talk about engagement, it is about proper literature, right? Something to read, which cultivates a habit of reading in them, right? They feel bored and stop getting the taste. We have to start. We have to read with them. We have to try reading so that they can see कि हाँ, इसमें सच में फ्लेवर है. अगर थोड़ा सा बीच में कोई बुक है जहाँ पे उसको टेस्ट नहीं आ रहा है, then we can still continue because pages ahead will give you some more flavor. So this is about one activity. Second activity which can be done is we can take them to some orphanage probably, where he can try to correlate with the other kids. कि देखो बाकी बच्चे कहाँ हैं, मैं कहाँ पे हूँ, what a situation I am, what a better situation I am in, right? Watching a TV or a movie along with them, which gives a positive mental growth. Now, what is this positive mental growth? I think it's not a part of today's session. We'll have to take another session for that. So feelings of compassion, tolerance, and patience, humility, self-giving, courage, all of these things are supposed to be taught or shown to them because it is very necessary. And with regards to engagement, Sanskrit as a language is a wonderful language, and we all know that, right? Even NASA is doing research on Sanskrit language. So it is definitely a go for if we can get some arrangement so that kids learn this as one language during their activity. Yes, as one point raised, friends are the driving force, right? So we saw that. So how do we handle the friends? We call them home, right? Give them a kind of a short party, and we also participate with them. We try to mingle with them. Friends का favorite क्या है ये पता करें, and then we try to serve them what feels best with them, है ना? और अगर दूसरों को खुशी मिलती है उसमें अपनी खुशी देखना, दैट ऑफ कोर्स हमें पता है, मॉरल साइंस कहता है दिस इज अ वंडरफुल थिंग. सो व्हाई नॉट विद द किड्स? अगर मेरे बच्चों के फ्रेंड्स को सेटिस्फैक्शन मिल रहा है, दैट विल हेल्प मी आउट एज वेल, राइट? सो दैट इज अ वंडरफुल thought which was given by one of my seniors. uh, Taking out to them on a party, maybe a small picnic kind of a thing, that can be one another idea, right? And if not taken care of, we know that this is going to cause a havoc. A wrong association can spoil them completely. Yeah. And yeah, so this was all about Manomai Kosh. Do we have any questions? Okay.
So, as you said, we can invite our kids, children's friends at home, or go out with them for a party or a picnic or something as such. But I believe nowadays kids are so outsmart. In front of us, they are one personality, and behind us, they are another.
That is,
And one more question I just wanted like to ask: is it right to give children gadgets like phone or anything? Okay, tab and laptop is a must because of this COVID situation.
yeah.
But is it right to give them a
Yeah.
mobile?
No, I think that is what we discussed just now. Allowing them a free access to internet, free access to TV, free access to video games, that is a straight no-no, right? If you allow them a free hand, you never know, because these age, you know what ads are going to come up in the video games, right? And that is going to be a tough situation. So we for sure do not want that to happen. And just look at the games. What kind of games are floating around in the world? People are killing each other in the games. You have to rob a car. Would you want your kid to actually learn such kind of things? Even imagine, would you want to him to actually even think about it? Forget about learning, right? So these are so many things which we should try to avoid. Okay. Yeah, I think we can cover a few more questions later. So coming to quickly on a Gyanamay coach. So Gyanamay coach actually is the age where probably we are in, right? So it starts from the age of 26 and it goes on till you actually realize what is the idea of life. So prior to this age, everything was emotional. And we thought that the world would be a rosy cozy place, but then after 1 year of marriage you realize that things are not that straight, right? make There are very serious things to be done, like making a career, getting a proper job, raising a family, right? Getting married, and taking care of all of these relationships. These are really really tough situations, so we simply cannot take these things lightly, and emotions do not work here, and of course we all know that pretty well, right? So once the person is at this age, it really feels like, what am I doing here? What am I supposed to do? Why am I here? Why am I suffering? Right? If you are in such a situation, there can be only two things which can happen. Either you close off and then you feel कि नहीं boss, this world is not the right place, and somehow I am stuck in somewhere which I don't know what to do. The second situation is you raise questions, you try to figure out the answers, and if all goes good, you come across a right guru or right people who actually can show you or tell you what is the right path. What are you, why have you got this life for? What are you supposed to do? And then in a proper guru's shelter, we try to understand the philosophy of life. We try to perceive how the world is, what are we supposed to do, and then we try to get into an association where we have like-minded people, like-minded families, where you try to serve them, you try to help them out, you yourself get helped, consciously or unconsciously. And then after doing all of this, you come to an age where you feel that yes, this is the real fun of life, and that is the last Anandamay Kosh, and then you nurture yourself out. So that was all about the all five koshas of the world. Yeah, I have a question. I think we will take it in a few minutes. Just allow me to scroll through the slides, please. And yeah, I think we can talk more about them. So parenting is about cultivation, and we already saw that. So you have to have proper soil and seed, and the environment has to be conducive. You need a proper sunshine and fencing and nurturing. We already saw all of these, right? This is a wonderful example. I will not go into this right now, probably after the session. So, yeah, for sure. So, this is very critical. What is parenting not about? It is not criticizing, and we all know that, right? Comparing, comparing kids to their peers in the class, probably the neighbor's kid, and so on, competing with them. That is ridiculous. Some parents do that, but that is not at all, right? I mean, they are kids contending and complaining about their activities. So this is for sure a big no-no to the parents. You should not do that at all. A few more things is unethical behavior. Is like if you are not right in certain things, you cannot expect them to be the way Komal sir just now said. If you like uh, Loki, your kid will like themselves. But if you yourself don't love it and you expect them to have it, that is not ethical. So, rash and foul language, frivolity, and yelling, quarreling. So, this is not a big no-no to the kids. Quickly coming to the quick summary of parenting is love your child unconditionally. Make your family life a priority with service to the God and adherence to spiritual principle as your in the center. Do not discipline child in anger. Honor yourself and your spouse. This is very critical because at times what happens is we do not think about maybe ourselves or probably my wife, say for example, and I just try to put up something, right? And that can give a pretty wrong impression to the kids that if these guys are not handling themselves in a proper way, do I actually want to be in their company? But they don't have any choice, unfortunately. Model the behavior you expect them from the kid. This is, we talked about it, right? And then engage your child in a healthy lifestyle choices, incorporating exercise, health, and spiritual activity. A few more to cover. Do not allow media, and yeah, we discussed on that point, and Mataji raised pretty rightly. Internet, phones, iPods, no unlimited access. It should be a big no-no. uh, Envision the kind of kids you want them to be and then raise them accordingly, right? So be in charge of having regulated and healthy routines in your house. So this can always be like what diet, right? What routine, what exercise, what activity, how much hour do you spend outside and inside, and so on and so forth. Okay. And then the last point obviously is do not kill your child by killing their creativity, health aspirations, and bubbling enthusiasm. Okay. And coming on to the last slide, uh, what should be the ideology? The ideology should be that we should try to become their friend, philosopher, and guide. Okay. At home, there should be an environment of education, culture, and devotion. And if we have all of this set right, the kids are going to grow definitely to be serious citizens, great leaders out of this world. Okay. And with that, I would like to conclude this session. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And I would also like to thank the enthusiastic people in the groups like Vedic Math, Art and Craft, Dance, where we try to engage the kids into all of these activities. And thanks to all the parents that you trusted us and gave this opportunity to handle your kids and help them and yourself grow a little bit from our side. And that's it. I think the session is done. We are like 14 minutes off 1 hour. So please forgive me for that. And we are open for questions. So the session is officially done. I have already shared a link for feedback for the session, please. And if you would like to be contacted next for any further sessions which are conducted by ISKCON or which are related to Vedic knowledge. Like we do read Bhagavad Gita together. So if you would like to be contacted, please let us know. And any activity for your kids as well. Okay, so we are all open for questions.
Prabhuji, I think there is a question in the chat box.
Okay. Session slides. Sure. We can try to send you the extracts of the pointers what we shared last. Yeah. Udita, thank you. And I see one question which reads as how to handle situations where we don't counteract our parents in preventing our children from getting spoiled. Yeah, that's a wonderful question actually, and a very realistic question, I would say. So, uh, there are two ways actually. I would say rather there is straight one way of handling things. So, if it is a tough time with your parents and you see that your kids are not going the right way and they are not getting proper support from the parent, first thing what we can do is talk to the parent straight away and try to understand why is this happening or why is this behavior coming out of the parents, and tell them that this is not what you expect them to do. Probably you can get a feedback from them, or rather discuss with them on what they feel and why are they doing this, probably, if I'm understanding it completely. Okay, any other question?
But sir, as you said, speaking with our parents, making them understand, it's a bit pretty difficult task. क्योंकि उनको लगता है हम लोग ने हमारे बच्चों को बड़ा किया है, तो क्या उनको हमने सही संस्कार नहीं दिए क्या? आप हमें कैसे सिखा सकते हो? ऐसे हमको सुनने को मिलता है.
नहीं, बिल्कुल आप सही कह रहे हो माता जी, बट द वे यू कैन टेल देम इज व्हाई आर यू फीलिंग रॉन्ग, है ना? अगर आपको कोई एक सिनेरियो ऐसा, अब लेट अस इफ वी नो अ पर्टिकुलर एग्जांपल देन वी कैन टॉक लिटिल बिट मोर. लेकिन अगर कोई सिनेरियो है, सपोज करो जैसे मेरे दो बच्चे हैं, है ना, और मेरी माँ अगर सपोज करिए कि बेटे को ज्यादा प्यार करती हैं, बिटिया को नहीं करती, somehow I'm putting up a example, right? In that case what I can do is I can straight away ask कि भाई she is also my kid, है ना? Then what is the problem? And of course we can take examples and then try to solve them.
बट उनको समझाए कैसे ये चीज? जैसे हम लोग अभी कभी कुछ ऐसे इंस्टेंसेस होते हैं जहाँ हम लोग बच्चों को समझाने की कोशिश करते हैं या बोलते हैं कि बेटा ये गलत है, आप ऐसे करते तो और अच्छा होता. एंड पेरेंट्स हमारे आके बोलते हैं नहीं वो जो कर रहा है वो सही है, तुम उसको क्यों टोकते हो, सारा दिन पढ़ने के लिए क्यों बोलते हो, या तुम व्हाई डू यू ऑलवेज ट्राई टू कीप योर चाइल्ड ऑक्यूपाइड?
Yeah. So two things actually. One way is probably you can give them a reference of this class. Okay, see, this is what we learned, and this is the age when the kids are supposed to be active, and this is their mindset what is going to be. So if they are not getting properly engaged, तो फिर वो अपनी एनर्जी को किसी दूसरी चीज में लगाएगा, है ना? अगर हम उसको एंगेज करके नहीं रखेंगे तो आज अभी वो कुछ कर रहा है, कल को गेम खेलेगा probably, right? And is that the right thing which we want to do? And there are kids whose eyes have got spoiled because they are so much now addicted, or they have to forcefully sit in front of iPad या आप लैपटॉप के सामने बिठा के ही रख रहे हो क्योंकि उसकी 4 घंटे 6 घंटे की तो क्लासेस चल रही हैं, and after that he has to forcefully sit, and would you still want him to keep doing whatever he wants? He has to move out, है ना? So we have to try to see what is the scenario and what are we trying to justify. Probably there might be scenarios जहाँ पे हम गलत होंगे या हो सकता है पेरेंट्स भी गलत होंगे. So we have to sort it out, of course. And this is a real world, right? There is no ideal solution. कुछ एक टाइम होगा जब पेरेंट्स को समझना होगा, हो सकता है कुछ टाइम में हमें समझना हो, दोनों सिनेरियोस हो सकते हैं, है ना? या ओके, वन
Yes, Guruji.
yeah, thank you, Mate. One question which comes is, why are we are trying to be our kids creative, but nowadays kids are losing their creativity by using TV, iPad. How can I turn the kid towards the better side of life? Absolutely. So this was one exercise which we tried to do, and the enthusiasts from our group, they tried to do with all the kids. We actually continue with the sessions. There are other sessions, further sessions which are going to happen. वहाँ पे बच्चों की और भी engagement होगी, जैसे अभी हमने कोडिंग क्लासेस अभी चल रही है, वहाँ पे बच्चों का engagement है. अभी वैदिक मैथ की क्लास हो रही थी, उसमें बच्चों का engagement. So similar things we'll have to figure it out, right? Because right now is the age when the kids have to be engaged as much as possible, so that it is best from both the angles, from their academic perspective as well as their mental and physical perspective also. Example, preventing children from watching television when you are right, Mega Mataji. This happens. हाँ, but हम उसको counter कैसे कर सकते हैं कि we can try to tell them it is okay to watch if it is just for the sake of fun, but not unlimited access. That is one point. And second point can be, we can tell them, see, whatever is coming in TV, is it actually real? Is that the real thing which we want the kid to learn? I mean, I don't want to talk about typical cases, but just look at the kind of serials what are coming, right? Even if we take a typical example of some religious serial also, and try to pick up a book and show them a comparison. Is this what is being told in the book? Because the TV, what it shows is what sells, and book talks authentic scenarios. So we have to think, where is this uh, uh, line of balance which we have to put, so that both things are not spoiled, है ना?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Thank you. And in the present scenario, the kids are not like us, thinking of from the parent side. They are becoming materialistic, and education system needs to change. That is exactly where your input is required. Of course, if we do not, और देखिए, हमारी संस्कृति को और कोई बचाने के लिए नहीं आएगा, right? It is we who have to take care of all these things. अगर हमें ही नहीं पता होगा, सपोज करो कि भगवत गीता में क्या लिखा हुआ है, तो हम अपने बच्चे को क्या बताएंगे, राइट? सो फॉर दैट द things have to start from us. We should know, and then we can make them know also, right? So for that reason, I was just telling that we conduct other classes, and it is not much. I think 1 hour in a day, in a week, I would say, or 2 hours max in a week is what we all can afford, right? So that we make sure that we understand a little bit, and we make our family also do a right stuff, है ना? So I think I would definitely like you to be part of it. Please fill up the form and let us know, so that we can get better engaged, right? Do we sorry, do you have any more questions? Yeah. Okay, so officially the session is over.
Sir, what about next session, Prabhuji?
Yeah, so officially I would like to say the session is over. Who have questions can stay back, others can leave. And thank you very much for your time and patience for hearing. Thank you. Hare Krishna. And who have questions can please stay back. Okay, and sorry, Mataji, you were asking about the next session?
Yes, yes.
Next session on which one, Mataji? Sorry.
This only, parenting, because I am a working mom, and that too in a law enforcement agency.
Okay.
Because there is a lot of stress from both the sides, family side and work
Yes,
side
yes.
also. So I want to go through
Mataji,
next session also.
yeah, next session is, I would suggest next session you should try to join something much better. Art of parenting at a high level, we covered quite a good substance here. Of course,
Yes.
there is no end to parenting. These are
No into yes.
real life scenarios, but yeah, so there are other stuffs also. If you can fill up the form, what we can do is we can get you engaged, and so that you get a proper engagement for yourself as well as for family. Yeah,
Sure.
thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, which form is to be filled?
I have shared a link on the chat. Maybe should I'm sharing it again. Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can
Okay.
kind
And I just missed the first 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Can you share the recorded session, please?
I'll try to see now. Sure, we'll try to do that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Like she just said, I'm also a working mother, and both of us are working. In COVID times, we are both doctors, so all this guilt is more of, I mean, it's there inside that how to handle and what are we lacking. So this will help us a lot. I mean, today's session was really helpful.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Mataji, for so your words. Okay, do we have any other questions from anybody? No? Okay, then we can call it off. Thank you so much for participating. And we still plan to continue with the kids with the other sessions, as I told already. So if you are interested, please do let us know through the form. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna.
pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, I think we can stop the recording.